Hey guys. All right, so last hand built technique we're going to do is slab. And for our slab project, you're going to create a box. So I want you to kind of think outside of the square box thing. I want you to think a little bit outside of that. So I made a Mickey Mouse shaped box. So here is my design. And then I've decided that it's going to be 1 inch tall. Okay, so if you think about it, this is a flat slab, and then I would have more slabs that are flat rectangles that I could just build along here to make my box. So you're going to draw me a picture, post that into your Google Drive so that I can check that out. Make sure to put it in a folder that I know, either a clay folder or clay box folder, however you want to label it, but I need to know that that's what I'm looking for. Don't just stick it in a random folder. Okay, so to do your clay slab, again, we're going to start the same way we always start. We're going to wedge up our clay. We have our design, and we are going to need to keep in mind our 1/4 inch thickness. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use 2 pencils. Here are my 2 pencils. I'm going to flatten out my clay. And then, again, I need something to roll my clay out with. So I have my kid's bubble wand. You could use a can of soup, a water bottle, anything that is a cylinder shape will work for this. So all I'm doing, I put my 2 pencils down, my clay is in between. I want to roll my clay out. And what I'm trying to get is my flat slab. And I'm making it the thickness of my 2 pencils because that's my 1/4 inch. That's what I'm looking for. So here I have my slab. Okay, now here's a little tip for you. Make sure you're not just working on a surface. If you're working straight on a table, you're going to have a hard time getting this off the table. If you are working on, let's say, newspaper, that's what we would typically work on in the classroom, you need to make sure while you're rolling this that you're moving it around on that newspaper. If you roll your entire slab flat on your newspaper without moving it around, what will happen is the paper will absorb the moisture in your clay, and then it's going to tear apart and stick into your clay. So now you have paper in your clay. In the kiln, if you have paper in your clay, if it's just on the surface, it will burn off, which we really don't want to happen. But also, if you happen to get any embedded into your clay, it could break your piece. So we want to be very cautious of that. So here I have my slab, and I'm going to cut out my design. So I can start, if I wanted to just draw on my design. Now you can also, I'm just doing this really quick, you can cut out your template and then work from that and use that to just to trace around and cut it out. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I'm going to take my fork. If you have a knife, a butter knife, works perfect for this. You can cut right around your slab with your butter knife and get your shape. In fact, I'm going to go grab one real quick. So I'm just cutting around the shape of my box base. Now, a box has 6 sides. We need a top and we need a bottom. And your top should be able to come off. So keep that in mind. So if this is the bottom of my box, I'm going to actually need a second one that looks exactly like this. So what I would do is I would cut out another slab that looks just like this. Roll out my slab, cut out my design, and then I would have my bottom and top of my box. Okay, so we're gonna go with that. And I'm gonna set that aside. Now I need to make the walls. So we'll pretend I have 2 of those for the sake of time. I'm gonna wedge up my clay here. And again, I'm going to roll my slab. And remember, I want to pick it up and move it. Make sure that my clay is the thickness of my pencils. Okay, so I can take my ruler and mark my 1 inch. So I'm marking here's an inch, and then I have another inch about there. I do the same thing here. That gives me 2 reference points, so I can make sure I have a straight line, which is helpful when I'm trying to construct a box. And then I need to square up my ends. So now I can start building with this. And again, anytime I'm attaching 2 pieces of clay together, I'm going to use the score and slip process. Kind of mushed up my piece here a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to score where my clay is going to attach. And I'm also going to score my piece. I'm going to use my slip. And I'm going to put that on both sides and push these 2 pieces together. Now, let me show you what that looks like. So you can see my seam. We want to mesh that seam together to make this a seamless box. So all I'm doing is pushing my clay back and forth over my seam to make that seam disappear. So there you have that. Okay, now I would continue this all the way around my box. So I would take my next piece, make sure that my end is square. I could score all the way around, here and here, all of this, all of this. Use my slip and attach these all together. And I would continue this process until I had all the way around my box was complete. Then I would take my lid. Okay, so backtrack just a second. Pretend this is complete all the way around. This is the base of my box. Okay, I'm going to take this off just for the sake of demo. I want to be able to put my lid on my box and it stay. So if this was my lid, I need to put something around the inside edge of this. What that's going to be is a coil. And we just did coiling. So again, roll out your coil, score your surfaces. add your slip and put this together. Mesh my seams, make sure that's all smooth and attached well. Okay, and then when I set this onto my box, this will stay together and my lid will be secure. So you should have your flat base with your walls attached. You should have your lid with a coil on the inside to hold your lid in place on top of your box. That is what I'm looking for your slab project. So I hope that wasn't too confusing. Please let me know if you have any questions, issues, or concerns I can address, and we can get you on the right path to get this finished. That is all. Thank you.